Hello there and welcome back to Four Times in a Podcast. You join us on Sunday the 26th of October. It's 8:30 at night. It's about 6 hours after Celtic were defeated at Tynecastle. They lost the game 3-1, which sees them fall 8 points behind league leaders Hearts. This came a few days after Celtic were victorious in the Europa League with a come from behind win against Sturm Graz. So talk a bit about both games, but obviously that game at Tynecastle will be the main focus for this episode as we sort of look at what went wrong, what it means for the title race, which I think naysayers like myself will maybe have to give a little bit more credit to Hearts now. But it's myself, Darren. I'm here with Danny and Tony. Danny, I'll come at you. It was a built up as this top of the table clash, and the first half definitely delivered in terms of both teams having spells in the game where they were on top, but a sort of disastrous start to the second half for Celtic sort of put the game out of sight and we just couldn't get back in it. It's 2 league defeats in a row, and as I say, it puts Celtic 8 points behind Hearts. So where did it go wrong for you today?
Probably across both halves, probably about 20 minutes, 15 minutes of madness. I thought in the first 5 minutes when Hearts came out, at the back of my mind I was just, see if you can get to 15-20 minutes and just sit tight, and if you need to boot the ball at the park, just get ready, because we're doing that. And Schmeichel nearly put Kenny in. I thought Kenny hesitated at that. I think if he'd anticipated it, he was in. And at that point, you're either going round the keeper and scoring, or you're getting the keeper sent off, or a defender sent off for bringing you down. But I thought, just get out the first 20 minutes, and then I actually thought Hearts might blow themselves up. They might have put too much into it, and if they don't score, if they don't get the reward for all their pressure, they might just, that way they've just blew up and they've no more energy and you can pick them off. And then the defender decides he's got to score an own goal, which I was unlucky, but it's just so clumsy. Like, just the initial goal, like, was it Negren and Donovan weren't they good enough at stopping the cross? Braga getting up to win the header. It was a great save for Schmeichel, but even the ball's going to be like, I like Dane Murray, but I think he's got a lot going wrong. He's got a lot going wrong with him. He does seem to make big mistakes, and he's just no awareness at all. He just panics. It hits like an old knee shin toe, and it ends up in the top corner. And at that point, the means of me watching the game froze on me. So by the time I came back, it was one each. But we scored a great goal. And then I thought we were a better team until the end of the first half. I thought we were really good on the ball. I thought it was about 4 or 5 really good passages of play that were unlucky. Negren should have scored. I thought it was a great touch to get the ball away for the defender. I think if it was on his left foot, he'd have got his body over the ball and just rattled it low and hard. I think he's a wee bit off balance on his weaker side and trying to lift it. Keeper's made a great save. But there was a few moments in the first half where I thought we were really asserting ourselves in the game. I just thought, he's not here to defend his pal, but Andy, but I just thought Hatate was so bad in the first half. And the amount of times that he get the ball in, usually Hatate likes to move the ball on quite quickly. And he'd about 2 or 3, I think the first half where it was a wee clip ball at the top, or there was a pass on for him, or we were away and he was wanting too long in the ball and he ended up getting it away, and he was just annoying me in the first half. But at half time I was quite satisfied. I thought if we can kick on, just tighten up a wee bit. Hearts did look the more likely to score. I would have conceded that because I thought Donovan was terrified of the boy Kiziridis in the left. He kept showing him the outside, he kept showing him the wing, and then as soon as the boy was by him, he would show him the inside. Donovan's young, he's got a lot to learn. I really like his digging, and I actually think he's a better player than what he showed today and others, but it was kind of really poor. And then the second half they came out and really didn't get going, and the Hearts second goal was kind of coming. It's really bad for so many different areas, but Donovan and Negren losing the boy, Murray pulls out the shot, and nobody really gets out to him, so that was poor. And then the penalty, it was a penalty. I still think it's a dive, but Braga, I think Murray goes in and Braga goes up in the air like he's been shot. Really over theatrical, but Murray's probably stupid for putting a foot in, so I actually thought Schmeichel could have got closer to the penalty, but maybe I'm being harsh. But after that, yeah, I thought it's got to be fucking 5 or 6 here, because Hearts were rampant at that point. But again, I thought we like the game we played Hearts, was it about 18 months ago when Yang got sent off and he'd missed the penalty. I thought when we were 2 goals down, we actually get the ball down and we played some nice stuff again. I thought we were unlucky with a few efforts. I thought Engels and McCowan, was really unlucky. That was a really good move. That deserved a goal. And at 3-2, I didn't think we'd have get beat if we'd have pulled one back at that stage. I thought Yamada put himself about quite well, but he's obviously miles off it, but I think he's a better option than Kenny. But it was kind of, the defeat was in the post all week, wasn't it? So I just think it was unavoidable. I don't think Celtic were that bad, but I did think Hearts looked more likely to score throughout the game, and that's really damning on Celtic. we just look so soft and we look easy to play against. I thought the midfield were alright. I thought McGregor in the first half was really good. I know he scored a great goal, but I thought he was really good. But Murray and Donovan, anytime they couldn't give the ball to McGregor, they were just passing it back to the keeper. And there was a few times, noticeably in the first half, where I thought we had some really good opportunities to get up the park, and Murray hesitated on the ball, or Donovan hesitated on the ball, and there just seemed to be a real no lack of urgency, because Celtic had been guilty of that all season, but there was like real hesitancy, and that never bodes well. Hearts weren't hesitant, they knew exactly what they wanted to do. You know why? They'll be feeling good about themselves, they're right clear. It's no insurmountable yet, but you know, it can't keep going on like this. We've lost 2 games in a row, it's not really good enough. 2 games that we really should be winning. I mean, if you look at the 90 minutes a day, the mistakes that we make leading to the goals, like Hearts' goals didn't really seem that they worked that hard for them. Yeah, as our goal was a great move, but like you think about what we're trying to do to score a goal, whereas teams just seem to put the ball in the box or in and around the box, and they get joy against us. So I know, great, but it's just, I was hoping for a wee bit better the day. The injuries and that don't help, but you were hoping for better after players. But 8 behind and not really seeing any. Well, what I would say cause for optimism is I thought at 3-1 they took control of the game again, but they just never get the goal. But again, they didn't force the keeper in to make a save either, so I don't think we can have too many complaints.
I think the other night when Ian Acho and Alistair Johnston were subbed off injured in the first half, and then obviously Cameron Carter-Vickers went down just on the stroke of full time and was then the next day confirmed that he's out for 3 to 5 months. I think it's just everything sort of pointed to it might have been a defeat today, and it turned out to be that way. I thought that Hearts started really well, but like from all you've heard about Hearts this season, like with the Tony Bloom players that have arrived, I was expecting a bit more. I thought Hearts were just what you get from Hearts at Tynecastle, where they're in your face, they try and just bombard you, they're getting into every tackle with 100%, like they're not going to pull out it, and the goal that we conceded early is just a calamity. Like as you say, it's really poor. Like that's probably their best player, that boy on the left wing. He seemed to have the freedom with it in the first half, and he gets the cross in. Schmeichel makes a wonderful save. Like he's had a lot of criticism this season, but it's a magnificent save from Schmeichel to keep it out, and Shankland just puts it back in a dangerous area. I don't even think it's going in, and don't get me wrong, I think if Murray for whatever reason didn't touch the ball, or there's a player at the back post that would have put it in, but I just don't know. I'm thinking, like, I know Murray's inexperienced, and he made his debut against Mitchell and Dunderange, but that was like 5 years ago, whatever it was. I think he's 22, so he's not the youngest, and I think he's had a few injuries, but you're surely expecting more in that like sort of position. Like there's nobody really near him. He just lacks any sort of composure, and that, as soon as that happens, people are immediately turning around and questioning why Rodgers didn't put Austin Trusty in. And for me, I thought Rodgers was fine though he played Trusty, because in the pre-match interview he explained, he was asked on Sky about it, and he says, look, I'd rather play with a right-footed centre-half and a left-footed one, so that's why he didn't want to play Trusty next to Scales, and that was fine for me, because Murray's been alright a few times. I think Danny's right, he does seem to be quite error-prone. I remember he came on against Aston Villa last season and cost a goal or sold a penalty in that game, and there has been a few moments where he has also scored the own goal against Braga as well, but I didn't have any sort of problem with like the initial lineup. Like I know I'd say to use in our group chat that I would have been surprised if he played Donovan and Murray next to each other, just because I thought if he played Murray he might have played Ralston, and if he played Trusty then I thought he would have played Donovan, just because I thought he wouldn't have wanted the back line to be that inexperienced, especially 2 players next to each other. But look, he made the decision. I wasn't massively surprised by it, and we didn't collapse for once. It was a bit similar to Thursday night, where Thursday night was the first time I'd sort of seen us step up to any adversity this season, and we came back in a game. It's probably the best goal. I know no scored many, there's been a lot made of it, but it's the best goal scored this season in terms of a team move. Like McGregor just drives, that's what you're missing from McGregor. I think he plays it to Tynecastle, who gives it to Tierney, and it's a lovely cutback from Tierney, and for the sort of next 20-25 minutes we seem to be bossing the game. Hearts were still getting the odd chance, like their sort of tactics seem to be just the sort of long throw-ins or set pieces. They would just throw the 2 centre-halves up and sort of look for scraps off that, but I thought we were really comfortable. I thought McLean just allowed Tynecastle to get assaulted a few times in the first half. I couldn't believe something. There was one when he was going through in the left wing, and I think he took out 3 times, and then the ball came off him, and he for a Hearts throw in, there was no sort of advantage pulled back, and there was another one where he got deliberately dragged back and McLean pulled it back for an offside in our favour. And I'm thinking, surely fuck, we had the advantage, you should be pulling for a foul there. But no, I thought there was one thing, I don't know if it annoyed me or not, it didn't annoy me at the time, but when McGregor gave a foul away against Cammy Devlin and then get sort of needlessly involved in a sort of head-to-head, it's not something you really see with McGregor too often, and they had that and then they sort of continued it for another 10-15 seconds. I'm thinking, right, you know what Devlin's like, you've got to be sort of wise to that. But I think the Celtic team's missing a bit of character, and maybe that was McGregor's sort of way of trying to show that Celtic were up for the fight as well. But after that we sort of fell away, and we did have that glorious chance for Nygren. It was a great ball along, and as you say, his touch is magnificent to sort of take the defender out of the equation, and then he just tries to lift it out of the keeper. I think he has to just rattle it. I know you're saying if it was on his left foot he might have done that, but I think either way he's just got to, like, from that sort of distance, you've got to sort of put it point blank and give the keeper no chance. And it was a good save at the same time, but I think he has to score. And what was quite damning, this was after the game, I heard Ellie Barber say on Sky that was the only shot any of the front three that started had all game, and I'm not even just talking about on target, that was the only shot on or off target that any of that front three had, which that's really poor for any Celtic team in any game. I don't care who we're playing, it's really quite awful. And I know that the Ryan McGowan and Chris Sutton on commentary were getting quite surprised that Tynecastle get took off, but I think that just shows that I think he's had that one goal against Tynecastle. I don't think he's assisted a goal since he's been here. I think he needs to, as much as he shows it in flashes, he has to produce more sort of in ball. Like, that's what sort of Yang was, a lot of people wrote him off for, because he could look good in spells, but ultimately his numbers weren't very good. So Tynecastle's got to sort of up that part of his game, I think. And second half, it's just a complete collapse. Like, as you say, you've got Nygren and Donovan, who yet again show the left winger anywhere he wants to go, they don't stop the shot. I think Engel should stop it as well, but he at least makes some sort of attempt. And then it's sort of unfathomable to me what Murray does. I think if he stands still, the ball probably takes a deflection off his shin, but he sort of pulls his leg out the way, and Schmeichel's blocked by about 3 players. So I seen Schmeichel after it going off his nut at Murray especially. It is quite, I don't know what he's thinking of. Well, there's just no sort of any sort of natural reaction as a defender that you'd have to sort of pull your leg out the way there. You've got to either stand it up or just put it out for a corner or a shy. Like, I think he has to do better there. And then obviously 90 seconds later you give away a stupid penalty. I know Danny's saying Hinks Braga goes down a bit theatrically, but it's clear contact and it's never getting overturned at that point. And then Schmeichel doesn't really get that close to it despite going the right way. And I was a bit, like I said on here last week after the Dundee game, I didn't see us getting back in it. There was a few spells in the game where, especially the move where McCowan put one past the post, I thought McCowan really did liven up our midfield a bit. I'd have him in the team sort of for the next 5-6 games at least, because the problem we're having in this midfield now is that there seems to only be one of them playing well in a game. Like the other night it was Engels, the day I thought it was probably McGregor, because I thought Hatate and Engels the day were pretty poor, whereas McCowan, I think you could probably question whether the talent's there to be like a cemented Celtic starting midfielder, but his dig's always there and he's always going to try and create his chances, whereas a couple of the ones that have been in and about the midfield, they're just disappearing out of games now. But I didn't have the sort of same feeling that we were going to pull it back, and 8 points behind. I think you'd have probably seen it coming, as I say, especially with the big injuries we had during the week. I wasn't surprised, but as I say, I thought, for all I've heard about Hearts this season, I wasn't massively impressed with them, but look, they're top of the league, they're 8 points clear. The one thing they're good at now is winning games, so all we can do is keep winning our games, try and put a run together. But I think it's over a year now that we've put 3 wins in a row together, so a lot's got to change, and it might get worse before it gets better. That's the problem, because we're missing players through injury, and then we're only about 5-6 weeks away, I think, from potentially players getting called up for AFCON. So I think we just need to get behind the team, get behind the manager. I know we'll probably come on to the manager again, because yet again the day's been taking a lot of criticism, but Tony, I know you've been rearranging your social calendar to catch bits and pieces of games, but what was your thoughts on it? I know you sort of seen this one coming, you says last week.
Well, I think that was my prediction in the chat, was 3-1 to Hearts. I think you maybe went 3-0 Celtic, and Andy went 3-0 Celtic, and I think Danny went for a draw. The missus said to me there was a Halloween thing on for kids, and we decided to take the wee man to that, and I basically missed all of the game, and I missed the first half on Thursday as well. And my kind of thinking is, if the manager looks as though he's chucked it, The players I don't think are chucked it. I think they're just shite. And the board have chucked it. I thought, well, am I really going to start rearranging my schedule to sit and watch us get beat off Hearts? And I thought, no. So I caught the last 5 minutes and I've watched the highlights. I think the own goal is madness. I mean, I thought it was going to be a deflection, but just can't get his footing right and just volleys the ball right in. Penalty's clumsy. The second goal's garbage as well. I actually think our goal's a really brilliant move and a really good goal. I think for me, if I just forget about the game, because I didn't see it in its entirety, and I've heard kind of mixed reviews. As it stands, we're 8 points behind Hearts, and I think we're 11 goals behind them. Now, for me, if you look at everything that's happened in the summer, and it's difficult not to talk about it. And by the way, I think I would be happy if Rodgers went, because I think he's now become a distraction. He's underperforming, and if he goes, all eyes can be in the board. I think there's so many people just want to have a go at him, and I get it. I do get it, because he's underperforming, he's on a fortune, and he's just not working. But if he goes, I feel everybody can then direct the anger at the board, who deserve it the most. They are the main reason we're in this state. You look at our signings, Tynecastle and Balikwisha, I think we've maybe spent about 10 million between them, and I think between them, they have a goal and an assist, and it's nearly November. So then you look at the guy Braga for Hearts. I think Jamestown Analytic managed to get him from, is it Norwegian second division? And he might be the top scorer in the league, if not about there. So that kind of shows up our recruitment. The guy Tony Bloom obviously done very well at USG, and he's done very well at Brighton. I think he's had one look at our board and Dermot Desmond and went, I fancy a fucking crack at these idiots. And within 5 months, he's managed to come up with a system whereby Derek McInnes, who over the years I don't think he's been a great manager. I think he's a decent SPFL manager, but I guess you need to give him a bit of credit. He's got them the right players, and they're 8 points clear us, and they've battered us 3-1. And our board it's just incredible that our board have come up against one guy who's got this analytics company, and they've obviously got a better recruitment strategy than us, and it's shown very quickly. I just think we're a mess. I mean, I thought originally I thought Rangers would win the league, then they kind of fell away. They're actually only 5 points behind us now, and they've lost less games than us, and they had Russell Martin as their manager for a period of time, so that shows you how shite we are. So I think the position we're in now, I think there's a danger the wheels could just come flying off. I mean, if you look at the Hearts team and our team today, I get people going, a manager should be doing better, but then I look at some of the players, like, I'd take Finlay over Scales and Murray. I know Danny would take Finlay or Saliba and Gabriel, and then you've got Donovan. I'd probably take the Hearts right back, don't know who he is. Left back, Tierney's okay. Their midfield, I'm assuming Devlin's performing better than Engels and Hatate. Then you've got Shanklin's got to be better than Johnny Kenny. The guy Braga's got to be better than our wingers, same with the Greek guy as well. So as much as, and I said that when we played Almaty, like Ralston, Scales, Yang, like they wouldn't get a game for Almaty. And I don't think Rodgers has lost the dressing room. I think the dressing room's quite unified. I just think they're garbage. Like I don't think they're non-triers or anything like that at all. It's nothing on their character. It's their quality is fucking dreadful. And I think that's the issue. The squad is just devoid of quality. I mean, the last kind of 14 months, O'Reilly, Kuhn, Ida, Kyogo, now you're missing Jota, you're going to be missing Carter Vickers. I mean, there's a lot of big players to be missing, and it's mad to me that this board's idea of going again and going for 5 in a row was to do nothing, and this argument keeps getting brought back. There's a couple of really stupid arguments. One is Rodgers spent money in Engels he didn't trust last season. So fuck. Like, I think he spent, what was it, maybe 26 million? That's actually not a lot of money in football terms. I know people have been kind of gaslit into believing that that's this mad investment for Celtic. It really isn't in terms of what we have in the bank and what we bring in. And then last season we had a pretty good season in Europe, etc. They players all contributed. Obviously, it's not went so well for them since, but that can't be a reason you don't spend again. The manager spent 26 million, so we just never spend again. I mean, it's an absolutely moronic argument. The other argument is, and this is even more moronic, the manager's leaving, so why would you back him? Well, because the squad's shite, and if you want to win titles and cups, you should probably back the manager until he leaves, or you should sack him, bring in a new manager and back him. But our board are just dreadful. Like Michael Nicholson, I don't know what that guy's doing, whereby he's decided we won't sack Rodgers, we won't give him a new contract, we won't really back him, we'll just do nothing and hope. It's that arrogance we have. There's probably so many people in the Celtic board laughing when Tony Bloom came into Hearts as if to say, oh, we're Celtic, I mean, we're just going to keep the faith and we'll rock up and win a treble. Like, it's mental. I don't know what the strategy is. I mean, it's an incredible position to find ourselves in. And the other thing people start to say is, oh, I want a challenge. Yeah, competition is brilliant. Competition is very healthy, but you need to be equipped to handle the challenge. And at the minute, we're not. We don't look equipped to. I don't think we look equipped to win a league title. I don't think that looks like a title winning squad. There's nothing I've seen this season that makes me go, yeah, we're going to go on a run. I don't see it. And I think the other argument is, well, Hearts are going to fall away. Right, Hearts are going to drop points, yep, we can all concede that, but are we going to go on a run that we're going to catch them? I mean, you look, Hearts have played a lot of tough games already. Celtic is apparently a tough game, Rangers away, apparently a tough game, Hibs at home, they beat Aberdeen, who are usually there or thereabouts. They've got a really hard game against St Mirren, but away to Killie, absolutely destroyed Killie 3-0. So this idea that they're just going to fall away, I don't believe. Another argument, sorry if people, I know people are trying to probably try to hang on to hope. I'm just kind of going through every kind of bit of hope people have and just trying to destroy it here, but I can only be honest. Like, the other hope is, oh, well, when we get to January, so that's what I said in a chat earlier on. You've got January, you've got Jamestown Analytics and Tony Bloom versus the football doctor and wee Michael Nicholson. I mean, I'm putting the house on Tony Bloom's mob to get the right players in. I'm certainly not relying on Michael Nicholson, who was asked a question about the manager's comments in recruitment, and he shrugged. He shrugged to say, I don't know. That's your CEO. That's your £800,000 a year CEO. Shrugged. When the recruitment's been so bad. And not only did he shrug, he let them put it in the minutes that he shrugged. So how fucking daft is that? He didn't. It's mad to me that he didn't go, maybe that's a PR disaster, the fact that I shrugged. Nah, fuck it, put it in the minutes and we'll release it. So for me, I mean, I think that the movement against the board needs to increase tenfold, because how the people can see the mess they've created and not resign is I think it's disgraceful. They know the fans are in disarray, the team's in disarray, they know we need a boost, and one of them kind of resigning would be a boost. I don't care what anybody says, it would be an absolute boost and would take away. But they are just fucking, they're sitting in there, they're sitting tight, and they would rather let this club rot to fuck than resign. And I think that's what they're going to do. If I was the collective, which I'm not, I've got nothing to do with it, apart from this podcast, signed the letter, and I would be going for the boycott of Europa League, and I would maybe consider league games as well, because you're going to need drastic actions. They people need removed. They just cannot be allowed to continue. I know all this, you need to back the team and all that, absolutely, but fuck, the team are rubbish, right? that's just the facts, right? And we have backed them, and they're still pretty rubbish. So for me, I think it's got all the makings of a trophyless season. I think we could end up finishing worse than second. I know people will be going, oh, fucking, this is nonsense talk, but really, I just think we're really, really bad. And you've kind of got the unholy trinity, whereby the board are divided, the fans are divided for the board, a lot of fans are divided for the manager, divided for the players. I don't think the manager and the board are getting on. If they are, then fuck knows what's going on. If they two sections are getting on, something's far wrong. They shouldn't be getting on, because the board have left the manager hung out to dry, and the manager's hung them out to dry, rightfully so. So I just think it's just a makings of a disaster. Look, I really hope Rodgers resigns and just says, look, this is untenable. Or they sack him. I don't think they will. They'll know what to pay him out. And they know a lot of fans hate Rodgers, so they'll be going, we'll keep him in and it'll take heat off us. I would love him just to go, no what, stick this up your ass. I'm away back to England, probably win another FA Cup and deal with a recruitment team that's fucking functional as opposed to this absolute shite I'm dealing with here. And then the board will have nowhere to hide. That's what I want. But for me, I think the collective need to look at everything. I hope the boycott of the merchandise continues. I hope nobody buys anything for them. But obviously some people online, I seen a guy I was arguing with that says he was going to buy even more. So I don't really understand that. The Celtic Board have failed and they're useless, so I'm going to give them more money. I don't know if that's like the super duper Celtic keep the faith over and over, faithful through and through thing. I don't know what that's all about. Like, for me, I think we should be demanding Celtic is the best that Celtic can be, their absolute best, and we are nowhere near it. We are absolutely nowhere near it. We are playing guys like Dane Murray, who's barely kicked a ball, Donovan, who's just a young kid, and we've got £77 million sitting in the bank. It's so disgraceful. I can't understand how anybody can back this board up. It baffles me. Obviously, they're totally entitled to their opinion, but I just don't know how you can watch us this season and go, yeah, that's the board for me. And Dermot Desmond's a great guy to have at the club. I mean, I just love him to sell up. I was going to say something else. But I would love him to sell up. But no, I hope the board start it gets more uncomfortable with them. I hope there's protests for them getting into the ground and leaving. Just to reiterate, totally peaceful protests, of course. The last thing I'd want, somebody to fucking get themselves in trouble for the assholes that run us. That's the last thing I want. But no, I think the pressure needs to be cranked up tenfold, because the way I see it, I think this season's going off a cliff, and I think it's going to get worse. I think it's going to get worse next Sunday in the semi-final. I think we're going to get beat there. Falkirk midweek, probably win 1-0. Maybe they'll score an own goal. You can get a prediction early for that. But I just... It's mad for us. Like, we have no football background, but we could all see a disaster was coming with the way the transfer window went. But the guy that's on 800 grand a year couldn't see it, and the rest of the people running the club, like, it's just such a shit run club. And if I see one more comment saying we're one of the best run clubs in the world, they can't fucking navigate qualification past Malmo, Maribor, Almaty, fucking AEK, fucking Ferencváros, Cluj. On fucking, speaking of Ferencváros and Cluj, fucking Neil Lennon's back out defending the board, man. Thank fuck I missed this, but Andy was telling me he was on Sky defending the board and saying sometimes you need to go backwards or something like that. I thought, fucking hell, he would know all about that, man. He nearly dragged us back to the fucking Stone Ages with that COVID season. I mean, honestly, I can't believe he's still doing Celtic games. Like, I would rather listen to Chris Boyd for a week and a half non-stop than listen to Neil Lennon for 30 seconds, just constantly defending the board. I mean, I think out the last fucking 15 or 16 titles, we've lost 2, and he was a fucking manager for both of them. But who wants to listen to him? I mean, it's just like somebody trying to wind you up, like, oh, here, your club's in disarray, but we've got Neil Lennon here just to tell you to shut your trap because, Dermot's a genius, and Peter's a genius, and fucking he's a genius. I mean, no harm to fucking Dunfermline, but want to just get your manager to manages and get him away for fucking commentating. But apart from that, everything's good, and, you know, keep the faith. And I think if we keep at it, we have a good January, which we won't have because the people running us don't know how to recruit, whereas Jamestown probably already get the signings in the door. I think we could get a strong third place finish.
There you go. Well, third place finish, that'd be fine. You're right about Lennon and that. He was a disgrace today. He had him and Chris Boyd, the tag team today, who were defending the board, saying it was a good transfer window. And look, you would think you can sort of expect it from somebody who's never paid to get into Celtic Park and who, let's be honest, doesn't really care how Celtic fans feel. But Chris Boyd was saying it as well. That's the problem. And it was a total disgrace. But I think you're right. It should really strengthen the collective. Like, even if you think that Rodgers is a problem, the board are the ones only getting rid of him. You can't expect a manager who's on that amount of money to just walk away from it. We've been told that, so we get told that so often about when we were against Lennon, how people, it shouldn't have been his decision to make. So I don't think Nicholson would know how to sack Rodgers. I don't think he has the power to sack Rodgers, if I'm being completely honest. That's just my opinion, of course, no legally binding. But I think if Nicholson wanted to sack him, I don't think he could. I think he'd need permission from certain shareholders, etc. So I don't think there's any chance of that. I think from what Rodgers has done for the club, I think there's a 0% chance that they'll sack him. I think people just need to buckle in. But as I say, it should the collective want rid of this board, or certain members there, because they're not running the club right. So if you think that Rodgers is a problem and that the board in turn only doing their job by getting rid of him, then join the collective. Then if you think the youth setup's a problem and the best it can produce is Donovan and Murray, and that you think they were at fault today, then join the collective, because the youth setup hasn't been held to account as well. So as I say, I think it should really strengthen. Danny, I'll just get your thoughts on what is going wrong in this team. As Tony said, it could potentially go for a cliff, but for me the problem is I agree with Tony. I don't think the team's fell out or anything, or that they're not playing for the manager. But the thing is that a lot of the time today, when things go wrong, and it's probably been out of the course of the season, you just see players throwing their arms up and sort of shrugging and looking at each other. There doesn't seem to be that real fighting for each other out there. But as I say, I don't think they've gave up on the manager or anything. What do you think is going wrong when they're sort of falling apart in these games.
Everything goes back to the board. People will be tired of hearing this. Well, I hope they're not tired of hearing it, but I'm going to repeat what Tony said anyway. But Everton, since the turn of the year, not the turn of the year, the start of the season, there's just been a disgrace for the board. They've let this negativity creep its way into the club, hang about, fester into what is now becoming something that could fucking, as Tony said, send the season off a cliff. The board have created this whole situation. We were at a crossroads in the summer. Well, not even the summer. You look at the Munich game, right? We've went toe to toe with Bayern Munich, who have won, 11, 12 leagues in a row? Champions League quarter-finals, semi-finals, whatever, every year. Spend millions of pounds every year replacing players. We go toe-to-toe with them. We're a bit of luck away for extra time. We're poor finishing away for knocking them out on the night. And you look at that team, and for some people, they've thought, well, that's as good as it gets for us. Let's hope the fans' expectations haven't increased too much, because we're not going to do anything in the summer. You've already lost Kyogo in January and not replaced him. So that was a decision. Kuhn leaves in the fucking first or second week of June, and you don't replace him. Because we needed another winger anyway. I know Balikwisha and Tynecastle came in on fucking deadline day or whatever, but we needed wingers anyway. Jota's out long term. You don't replace him. And then you bring these players in. They've created this whole situation from start to wherever it will fucking finish. And a lot of fans that are against the board and that are saying, like, back the team, sack the board, I genuinely think they went into this thinking, I can protest against the board every week because we're going to win every game 5-0. We'll probably win a treble. Yeah, we can moan at the board. And it's not worked out like that. And now Rodgers seems to be taking most of the flag. I think more people are now against Rodgers than they are against the board. Certainly not on here, but for what I'm seeing on my timeline on Twitter, more folk are against Rodgers. It's an easy win for the board to come out and say, well, look, you wanted the manager gone and we got rid of him. I think they will sack him if we get beat next week. I don't think they'll keep him about if we were to get beat. And then the board can turn around and say, well, we did what you asked. Why are you moaning at us? We've done what you asked. It's everything that's going on at Celtic's doing to them. I don't even buy the argument. No, I did, but I don't know. I used to just nod and say, aye, fair enough, but I don't anymore. This whole thing about Rodgers should be able to get more out of what he's got is just complete fucking rubbish. What has he got? You take 60 goals out of the team and you don't replace them. Even Tynecastle and Iheanacho came in on the fucking minutes to go on the deadline day. Like, it was different last year when you signed Engels and McCowan and Trusty because we'd started the season really well. These fucking players came in with minutes to go and were flung into the deep end. Tynecastle looks very, very good on the ball. I think off the ball he's very suspect. I think his decision making could be better, but he's at least shown flashes of brilliance on the ball. Iheanacho doesn't look fit. I know he's injured now, but he kind of drifts in and out of games. I think he's got a lovely touch about him. I think he could be a bit of a talismanic figure for us and get plenty of goals in a better team. Same with Balikwisha, I've not really seen anything from him. I thought he had a couple of really nice wee passes a day, but then there was a few other ones where he kind of fell out the ball and just, I don't know, I thought he was really bad at Ibrox. But I can't, like, which Rodgers, I'd love to see him do something different. I think going forward, Trusty's got to be in the team, Bernardo's got to be back. I think McCowan shouldn't be out the team until he's able to go out and sign somebody that replaces McCowan. Probably going to need to stick Forrest out in the right wing. Yang, can it be Yang? After Dundee was that bad. His heart's no, don't think Yang's heart's ever been in it, but it's not there now. Probably give Yamada a run or Kenny. But, you know, I don't buy the argument that Rodgers should be able to do better because he's paid £3 million a year or whatever Rodgers is getting. The board have completely and utterly fucking dismantled his squad. His squad that he had built, I will a wee bit of help for Ange, but he'd built it as well. After 18 months of being back, we were going toe-to-toe with Bayern Munich. We'd played really well in Europe that year. We'd went away from home in Europe and shown fucking pragmatism and a bit of fucking heart and determination. Got a nut in each draw away to Atalanta after taking 7 in Dortmund, which was a real fucking step forward for this team. And then, you know, within a couple of months of that Bayern game, you're looking at the squad and you're going, fuck. And yet, people are saying, but he's got to be better what he's got in the squad. I just think these people thought, you know what, I'll turn up and shout sack the board, and the board are probably to blame for us not really progressing in Europe, blah, blah. But we'll win 5-0 every week and get on. And now that we're not doing that, like, the 4 of us all said at the start of the season, it's going to be a bumpy ride this season. Tony's had us losing the league to Rangers, now he's got us losing it to Hearts. And, you know, we've all said that if Celtic were to win the league, it'll probably be with a very, very low points total. It's always going to be stop-start. This season it's been very fucking bumpy. win it against Motherwell, and then the international break never really helped us. I wonder if we'd have a midweek game after the Motherwell game, things might be slightly different, but it's no, we've lost the last 2 in the league. We got a really good one the other night, which I never seen. I maybe be the problem. I might skip Wednesday's game and see what happens. But listening to Tony, and he's right, you're kind of at the point where you're thinking, well, let's just fucking win one, try our best, because it doesn't always work out that, to win one not in every week until January, and then the board will come in and sign the players that are going to win us the league. For what it's worth, Tony Bloom's no bulletproof. He's no perfect. Not all of his players that he's signed have been good. Not all of the players that he will sign will be good. But it's obvious that he's got the nucleus of a good squad there. I don't think Hearts will win every game. I don't. But if we don't start winning ours, then it's not really going to fucking matter, is it? They're 8 clear and we're getting into November. If we were to both win on Wednesday night, they could go 11 clear before we play next. And, we've got a game in home, but you don't want to have to be, when we're not playing well, you don't want to be, you don't want to be that far behind when you're not playing well. And you wouldn't really take Celtic, you wouldn't confidently say we're going to beat anybody these days, are you? You know what I mean? Wednesday night, we're probably going to toil for most of the game. You would hope that we create a couple of chances and put a few away to beat Falkirk, but I'd imagine Falkirk might come and have a go. They did it in the Cup. We beat them with a bit of a second 11 in the Cup, but still, you're kind of looking at it going, I think we'll win, but you wouldn't necessarily be too confident. Cup semi-final next week, but I think that's going to be 2 shivers of shite, throwing shite at each other. Now, I think back the unders and back the draw, I think, in that game, if you're looking to probably back penalties either way. But something's got to change soon. I'd like to see Rodgers try something different on Wednesday. At least turn around and fucking say he's tried something. But I just think there's a real lack of attacking quality in the team. And we don't have a striker we can trust at the minute. And, we've hardly scored a goal this season. And I'm going to shut up because I'm fucking depressed myself sitting here. But something's got to give, something's got to change. I'm with Tony. I think if the board, the excuses the board came up with about players and all that, if they don't trust folk at the club, just fucking replace them, sack them. If the board were to come out and sack Rodgers, I don't think he could have too many complaints. I don't want it to happen. I'm very much Rodgers in. I'm a massive fan of it. I still believe that he'll turn it around. I still believe that he'll win a treble this season. I think we'll win the League Cup, and I like to think by the time we win the Scottish Cup, we'll be in a better position in the league. But if the board don't trust them to sign players, if they don't trust them to give the money, then fucking sack him and bring somebody else in that they will trust. Or they need to move out the way and let people come in that will trust the manager and give him money. So something's got to give soon. It can't keep going on like this. Mick McCarthy, it probably can, but something's got to give, and I'd like to see a bit of change about the team on Wednesday night and a bit of fresh impetus. But again, we'll probably be fucking toiling.
Aye, and I think you're right. It's just the front line is just where it's all gone wrong now, and that's sort of what happens when you sell Kyogo and sell Ida and you bring Ian Atcho in, who, as much as he'd looked alright for a few weeks, as I said last week, was a free agent who his club were quite happy to free and rather than negotiate a fee for us, and we played him constant, and then he went down 2 minutes into the Sturm Graz game and probably going to miss a few weeks at least. And then you sell your best right winger, Nicholas Kuhn, and don't replace him all. You just keep buying left wingers, keep stockpiling them. But there you go, we still had people in the support who were celebrating the sales of guys like Kuhn and Ida. And look, it's not their fault that they weren't replaced, but I think people are just far too premature in getting rid of being happy that these guys get sold. But aye, Tony will hit the 45-minute mark, so no way too much longer. But Danny said something there that he thinks that if Brendan was to lose to Rangers next week in the Cup, that he would be sacked. I says earlier, I think there's a 0% chance that even if he was to lose 3-0 next week, I couldn't see it happening. Just quickly, do you think that's a possibility? We'll do a proper preview later in the week, but if he was to lose that game, do you think that could be the end?
No, Brendan's basically a shield for the board. He's a shield for the board when he's doing really well because people aren't really looking at their failures. But when he's doing badly, people see the amount of people that just come out with this, oh, he's shit, what about this elite manager? I don't think Brendan Rodgers I could be wrong, has ever come out and said, see me, I'm an elite manager. I don't know what this desire is for just everybody to have a go at him for being an elite manager. I don't think he's ever declared himself that. I think fans have, we probably have, after some of his really good performances, but it's just a really weird thing where people just can't wait to boot him. See, if he was an elite manager, he wouldn't be anywhere near our fucking stupid board. He wouldn't be working for them. If he was no elite manager is coming to this club. It's a mess. It's a mess of a club that is a fucking heap of shite in Europe and has now turned into a heap of shite domestically somehow. So no, he's not an elite manager. No, I don't think they'll sack him. But what are they going to do? Sack him and go, well, we fucked up the transfer. We should have sacked the manager earlier. The seasons fell apart. The worst Rangers team for 50 years has put us out of cup. Everybody's eyes will turn to the board. It's not going to turn to whoever they bring in, whether it's fucking John Kennedy or Neil Lennon or fucking Martin O'Neill or, I don't know, fucking Peter Lawwell's son, whoever they give the job to. So no, I don't think they'll sack him. They'll know when to pay him off. I think they'll just say, look, just keep him at the end of the season. If he loses the league, we'll just try and blame him. And I think that'll probably work a wee bit for them, to be honest. So, Brendan should have resigned. I thought it was kind of trying to be a bit noble and thought, right, I'm going to try and drag Celtic to a title. We're just not good enough. The squad's not good enough. Danny Hinks will win a treble. I think Danny's drinking treble fairy liquid. I just think I think the wheels are going to come off. So no, I think if we lose next week, I don't think they'll sack him. I think he'll stay in situ. I think more fans will be annoyed. Fans will be arguing with each other whether it's the board or him that we should get rid of. When by that point it'll probably be we need to get rid of both. But the AGM should be interesting. I'm hoping there's kind of major protests at that for the board arriving and leaving again peacefully, because this just can't go on. Like, just an absolute, like, these guys don't really care. Like, at the end of the day, they're still getting paid fucking 5 figures a month, 40 grand a month after tax, whatever it is. Like, I doubt Michael Nicholson really gives a shit. Obviously, there'll be somebody on the YouTube channel going, I know Michael, he's a lovely guy and a proper Celtic man. I'm sure he is. But he's a shite CEO, and I'm not interested if he's nice or not. So these guys aren't going to the right. It's just an absolute stalemate, and it's the fans that are kind of stuck in the middle of it. It's us that suffer it. We're the ones that will need to take the slag and whatever else. And here, look, that's all good. That's fine. That's kind of par for the course when it comes to football, and especially if you do podcasts, you need to be ready to get clipped and get the piss taken out of you. But it's just madness how badly they're failing. Like, it's just a club failing in every aspect. For the stadium that's a dump, for fucking the PR team that apparently they brought people in there, fucking garbage as well. They can't organise it, and the CEO and the CFO meetings with the fans and shrugging and just not able to take accountability. Meant to build a museum and hotels, a lot of shite. One of the board members apparently leaking stories to the Sun. The manager's fucking too busy talking about cars to actually manages to consistent victories. The players are just not very good. So it just feels like a recipe for disaster. But it didn't need to be this way. Like, all they had to do was use proper analytics in the summer, proper recruitment strategy, go and get a replacement for Kuhn, replacement for Kyogo and Ida, bring in a strong midfielder, Tierney come in, and then go and kick on and get into the Champions League again and see where that took you. But they just stagnate. Like, we're fucking see sometimes when we get into a position of strength, we haven't a bastard notion what to do. I suppose at least we'll get 77 million in the bank. I mean, that's wonderful, and we've got all that new merchandise out. Hopefully it's got fucking cobwebs on it come Christmas. But no, I don't think they'll sack Rodgers. Sorry, I just took your question, decided just to stick the boot in again, but
No, that's fine. Just going on to Wednesday, how would you be freshening up the team? Would you be like looking to bring the likes of Blackfoot McCowan deserves a run? And I think, especially looking towards Sunday, I think you need to bring Trusty in. I think it would be absolutely suicide to persist with Murray at this point with that big game on the horizon.
See, be honest, I don't really care. I know it's a fucking dreadful thing to say, but you can't play Murray. I mean, that boy's confidence must be shot to bits, because that was a nuke he had there, like an absolute nuke. For me, I would play Simpson Pusey. Why we've got this Man City loanee, we've not gave him a chance, just throw him in. If you won't play Trusty because he's left-footed, then play Pusey and give him a chance. I'd bring Sarachi in as well, if we can. I'm not saying drop Tierney, I would even maybe put him right back, give Donovan maybe a bit of a break as well. I know he's kind of so-so, and you don't want a young guy constantly playing, especially through kind of such a difficult period. That could knock his confidence as well. Don't know how long Fermeda or Johnson or Iniacho, don't know how long they're going to be. I'm assuming long term. So maybe start Yamada. I don't know. I think I might see if there's any paint drying on Wednesday night, and I'll go and have a watch at that instead of watching Celtic v Falkirk. But love how you cut me off ranting there. I understand it's getting late, so I'll end it with this. I think we should sack the board immediately. I hope the collective up the pressure, and I think that's it.
What's your prediction for Wednesday?
6-0 to Falkirk. No, I think we'll win. No, I think 1-0 Celtic. Who's going to score? I think I say a Falkirk own goal. Stick with that, and I'll say I'll say we might get a slight bit of reprieve. I think maybe Hearts could drop points to St Mirren. Rangers v Hibs, I don't know, you'd be a brave man to predict a Rangers game at the minute. So, 1-0 Celtic and hopefully 50,000 bouncy balls on the pitch.
And that's just the ones I'm bringing. Danny, you say you think we'll toil. As I asked Tony, who would you be bringing in? For me, I think Trusty, McCowan. Don't think Yamada's the worst shout because I don't think Kenny's got much about him. And look, you're probably having your fingers and your toes crossed. It might either make Sunday, never mind Wednesday. So what would you be doing to freshen up the team? And I'll take your prediction as well.
I would bring in Trusty. He would be the first name in the team sheet for me. I don't think Trusty's ever let us down it. Did he know he had a really suspect performance at Dundee last year? But I think apart from that, he's been relatively solid. I just think Brendan's got a thing about Scales that he's got to play every week. And again, Scales was shite again today. Just never got around to going after him. But he gave the ball away plenty in the first half and just pish. Anyway, Trusty would be in. I would probably bring Ralston in if he's fit. Just take a bit of pressure off the boy Donovan. I'd play Forrest. I just think I'm not a fan of Forrest. Well, that's a lie. He's been a great player for his early years, but I don't think he's kicked his arse in the last 2 years. I know he came in at the end of Rodgers' first season back and did really well, but I think since then he's did fuck all. So I would but I think we need an actual right winger out there. In the midfield, McCowan's got to play. Bernardo, if he's fit as well. Even if you need to play the two of them and McGregor, then do it. I genuinely don't think there's any. I don't think there's one player in the team that can turn around and would be able to moan if he was out the team. I don't think anybody can say that they 100% are justified a place in the team. So whoever Rodgers drafts, then they'd probably deserve it. And up front, I'd play Yamada just because he put his sail about. He did more than 20 minutes or 30 minutes than what fucking Kenny did. Kenny looks like the ball's allergic to him. He's constantly so far out the game, running about, chasing fucking, I don't know, flies. I can appreciate he's not at the level we require. His confidence is probably shot. He's not playing with a good player team around him. You know, just massively different when these players come in to try and impress when they're playing in a team that's fucking flying. You know what I mean? It's easier, of course it is, but I just don't see anything for Kenny. And as much as I'm suspect about Yamada, I just think he puts his sail about. He had a lovely first touch today, and he should have. It was everything that was good about Yamada because he put his sail about. He went in and roughly was Finlay. And he brought the ball down, and he should have just a shot, and he kind of hesitated and ended up getting blocked. I think anyway, I don't know, the game was done by that point, but I'd bring him in, and I think again, maybe a bit of freshness might bring something in, but I think I'll say 2-0. I think we'll toy, I think we'll score, I think we will score in the first half, and then I'll say 2-1, because I set to lose a goal. I think we'll probably be 1-0 up and then one each, and then we'll score in the second half to win it, but I don't think it'll be pretty. That's what I would do. I think Rodgers will play 10 of the same players that played today and bring in Trusty and say something about, Sunday around the corner, it's not the time to kind of freshen it up. So I think he'll do that instead, and then and my prediction will still be the same.
I think I'm going to go for 2-0. I think that, as I've said, Trusty would be in, McCowan would be in. I think Forrest probably should be in just for that sort of natural right winger. I think it'll be a pretty horrible game, but I think that we'll see it out. And as I say, look, there's no much point worrying about what's happening in Edinburgh, Paisley. We've just got to focus on ourselves at the moment and get through that game. We'll be back after that. As I said, we'll do a wee Cup semi-final preview later in the week, hopefully discussing a Celtic victory and plenty to look forward to, maybe some more injury news that we can look for. But if you've made it this far, I know it's been another long one and a bit negative again, but we appreciate everybody that's taking the time to listen. Thanks for everybody that's getting involved in the chat on YouTube, and wherever you're listening, leave us a wee comments, like and subscribe, and we'll speak to you later in the week. Cool.